So you graduated, so in the ninth grade, you had to pass a state test at the end of the ninth grade?
County test, I think.
County test?
Uh-huh.
How'd you do?
Good.
What about, did Daddy go to the same school you went to?
No.
What school did you go to, Daddy?
Gardner.
You weren't in Gardner? Where'd you live?
Four Corners.
You lived at she lived at Four
She lived
Corners?
at Four Corners.
Oh.
Four Corners, Kansas. We called it Four Corners because it had four corners.
Was that the name of your school?
The Four Corners was the name of my school.
The Four Corners School.
But he moved away before he started the school there.
Gene, you went to the Four Corners School or you went to the Gardner School?
I went to Gardner. I was a city boy.
Okay.
She was a country girl.
So how many people did your fancy city boys school have in your class?
We had the record,
How many?
35.
You had 35,
Most of
okay.
them were 10. The ones on each side of us was 10.
And that's that in grade school?
Yes. Yeah. But it was baby boomers.
Okay.
We were the first baby boomers.
You were, okay.
They were imitation baby boomers. Alan, his
Okay.
We were the first baby boomers.
Okay. So when did you meet Mama?
In the baby bed.
Well, what year do you think that was?
Well, that would have to have been 1923.
Okay.
In the baby bed, we found each other.
Okay. Were your parents friends, or did you just
We were good
promiscuous?
friends. But that is not all. I had an extremely handsome identical twin brother, and I took both of the boys, Gene and Dean, and throwed them in the bed.
So you and Dean were, so it wasn't just
It
you.
wasn't just me, heck no. I wouldn't tried anything by myself like that.
That's funny. So how were your parents friends? How did they know each other?
They farmed. They were farmers, and Dad was lived on a farm, but he was a thresherman and a small farmer.
And they knew each other when they were young,
Yeah.
too.
So they've been friends since they were kids?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Anybody else can ask a question.
Yeah.
You're doing good.
When did you meet Nana? Obviously, if someone met Ari or Ari met somebody, she might not remember them. When did you guys meet where you went, wow, I really like you. I want to hang out with you more often. I want to spend time with you. I'm attracted to you. When did that, at what point in your life did that happen? Were you like a teenager like Emerson, or were you a young adult?
That's the second line in the poem.
Oh.
In a baby bed, we found each other. Then born again with a teenage kiss. That's when I'm married now for a whole bunch of years. Thank you, Dad, for no.
So how old was the teenage kiss? How old were you then?
I think I must have been about 19 and he was about 18.
18. I was a kid. She
Because
took advantage
after
of
we
it.
were out of high school, because although we liked each other, you know, I mean, he was my brother's best friend. We didn't think of each other romantically until that time. And I was working in Kansas City, and I brought my girlfriend home with me for the weekend. We came out on the train, and Sheldon brought Gene along with him to pick us up. And since there were two couples, we decided we'd go out on the town. We went to the local honky tonk.
And what year are you thinking this was?
Probably 1941.
Okay.
Write that down as the honky tonk.
Yeah, I want to know what a honky tonk was like in 1941 in Gardner.
Yeah.
It was a honky tonk.
It was a kind of a beer joint. But they had music and you could dance.
That's interesting. So
they kind of threw us together. You know, I mean, Sheldon sort of took up with my girlfriend, and then that's how it threw Gina and I together, and it just sort of during the evening we just sort of kissed, and it just sort of changed everything. It just changed the whole relationship. From then on, my whole life revolved around him.
That was when I was born again.
That was in 1941. Okie dokie. So when did you get married? What year?
A year later, 1942.
1942.
How old were you
December?
when you got married?
December the 26th.
I was 20, and Jean was 19.
It's all.
Maybe a wet floor.
Oh, poor baby.
We'll take a break for your local broadcaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commercial break. Is she okay?
Yeah, she just.
Oh, okay. So tell us where you got married. Where did you get married?
At my folks' home,
Mm-hmm.
and there was just the family there, and Dottie, she wasn't married to Dean yet, but Dean wasn't there because he was in the service. He wasn't there, was he? And she played the piano, the music, and then she got up and was the best lady, bridesmaid.
So she was your accompanist and your bride and your maid of honor?
Yes.
It's a small wedding.
She didn't like give the. She didn't marry you either, did she? Someone else did that?
What's that?
Who married you?
Reverend Whitaker, from the church we went to as kids.
Melba's
Church of the Brethren.
Okay, that's cool.
I want you to wind back the clock to when you were kids.
That's
And
what?
Nana, think about when you were like my and Naomi's age.
Uh-huh.
What kind of things did you like to do for fun?
Well,
work in the field.
Was that fun?
that was not fun. We did have to do it.
Like obviously Emerson's days is spent sleeping in and waking up and playing stuff on the TV and then maybe doing the dishes. I'm assuming your days were not spent farting around till 11 in the morning and then maybe doing your chores. I think what Gigi's getting at is describe what you would do on a regular day apart from
after we did our chores, if I had a chance, I would like to read. I like to read after I had learned to read. That was my favorite thing to do. And then we would walk. We had a pond, not very far from the house. We walked down to the pond, and we did. We played. We did some swimming there in the pond, and do a little fishing, and we just liked it. And when streams, we like to play in the streams. We look for frogs and stuff. And just if we got together with friends, that was our most fun.
Tell about what you were telling earlier about that families got together and did things together. Tell about that.
Yeah, the main entertainment was going to church or getting together with other families, and it's more intergenerational. We'd do things together. If we play games, the whole families would play games like charades. They'd have the little kids and the big kids, and we always thought that was really, really neat to play games with our parents. And then my dad built a new pond, and it was very clean at that time. And so all the neighbors would come around, and we'd have swimming parties, and that was fun. And then in the winter we'd have skating parties on that pond. Of course, we had horses, so we rode we didn't have any riding horses, but we rode those little horses around.
Is that the pond that's still on Grandpa's property?
Yes.
Is that the one?
It's
The one where we went fishing when we were kids?
Probably.
Grandpa would take us down there with
We
the
had
cane.
2 ponds, but that was the closest pond to the house.
Grandpa would take us down there with the cane pole,
Yeah,
and I think he put the fish on the end. I don't know. But we were usually pretty
And
successful.
we dig for worms for bait.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Oh, Patty fell asleep.
Because my brother, he liked to trap. He
And one
to
more.
go
I
set
have a
traps.
question.
Who set traps?
Sheldon, my brother.
He liked to trap?
He trapped.
What did he do with it when he got
Well,
it?
you can sell the skins.
Skin it.
You can sell the skins.
Skin it.
Where did he sell the skins?
Well, they had like the local store there that bought cream and eggs and milk would buy that.
Really?
Yeah, you could sell well, a possum wasn't worth much, but you catch something more than that, you know. Skunk was pretty good. You catch a skunk or sell.
Really?
Better fur, yeah.
What would they do with the pelt once they had it?
Tan it and put it in, sew it into a garment, you know. Yeah, and
Cool.
And there's rabbit
but,
that used to. They used
fox
some
and-
rabbit skin too.
Fox was very valuable. Fox fur was maybe $4 or $5 in those days.
Really?
Amazing. Is it
So that would be a good job. That would give you a good amount of income for
Well,
trapping.
Yeah, if you could, like I say,
Cats are the big.
possum wasn't hardly worth anything, but their skin was no good. But some of the other animals, you know, were pretty good.
I didn't realize they were that valuable, like a fox or
Yeah,
something.
little fox was,
Yeah.
was probably the most valuable. The coyote was something. Wasn't as good as a fox, but it was
Yeah.
kind of a cheap fox.
Were there plenty of things
Fake
to
fox.
trap?
Huh?
Was there plenty of things to trap? I mean, did he catch a lot of
No,
things?
no.
No, just occasionally.
You catch maybe maybe one a week or something. Like
Okay, so you weren't.
No, it wasn't a business. No.
Okay. All right. That's interesting.
And then they had a lot of crows, and they were a real problem to the farmers. So they'd give a bounty for crows' heads, and so the guys would kill crows and cut off their heads and take them in and sell them.
The county paid a bounty on them.
Really?
Time ahead.
Cool.
Grandpa
I know.
Craig paid a bounty.
Really?
Yeah, he turned me loose with a .22 rifle and a pocket full of bird shot, and he paid me for the birds I could shoot in the barn.
You killed the rabbit. You killed the rabbit.
Well, that was a different deal.
I know.
That was terrible. Sad
That
story.
was terrible.
That's
You
a
killed the rabbit.
sad story.
That was
Sad story.
that was heartbreaking. I forgot what I was going to ask you.
Pop, what kind of things did you and your brother get into? Did you have to work in the fields?
What's that?
What did you and your brother get into? Did you have to work in the fields?
No, I had to sit out there and clean the grease and crap off of old metal parts so that they could paint them like an old Rumley tractor or something like that. Scraping grease and rust off of the old parts.
How old were you when you did you went with the thrashing? You went with the thrashing rig.
Well, around a thrashing rig in high school, probably the last 2 years in high school, probably 15, 16, 17. But when I was a senior in high school, I ran a thrashing machine.
Describe that, Pop. Describe what that operation
Well,
was like.
that's a big old tractor. It starts with a big old tractor, and then it has a stationary thrasher that sets out in front of the tractor, and you have a big transmission belt that runs out there about 50 feet, and you hook that all up and line up the tractor and back it in there and get that belt tight and get everything scotched in there and staked down in the holes that you dig so that it can't move. And then you start running that thing, and they bring the wheat in from the fields or any other grain crop that go through a thrasher like oats and wheat and barley. They cut and bind them in little sheaves. They shock them, put the sheaves in the shock, and then they leave that there till it's time for the thrashing run, and then when it's time for that, when the thrash machine comes out to the farm, sets up, rack wagon comes out. All your neighbors come in there with rack wagons and horses, and they take them shocks apart with pitchforks and put them on the rack wagons, stack them up real high. And a very brave guy sits up there on the top of this stuff that's bobbing around with his horses and drives them up to the thrash machine, and then he pitches them off into the thrash machine. And each sheath of grain is picked up with a pitchfork and laid just right into the feeder, so that they just go like this, one right after the other, two at a time, one on each side of the thrash machine. And you got the two guys that drove the wagon, and then they put what they call a spike pitcher on there, another guy that just stays at the machine and crawls up on the rack wagons and help the guy that collected them in the field pitch them into the thrasher. And they just go clink, 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 and go right up the feeder, and zoom, and the big cylinder there goes at a high rate of speed with great big heavy hammers on it, and beats that wheat apart, and it sifts it all out and shakes it down in the bottom, and big fan blows the chaff out of there out through the big straw spreader on the back, and an auger turns through there and picks up the wheat, carries it up the little elevator, and dumps it in the truck there on the side of the thrash machine, and they haul that to the granary or to market. Either one.
And then there's a huge haystack, and we kids used to love to play on that
Oh,
haystack.
but the best part is the ladies come down from miles around, and they make the dinner you can't believe.
Well, like what? So tell us what kind of dinner would be served at
Oh
that?
my! Well, fried chicken and apple pie and sweet potatoes and all kinds of mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes. Just a great big old thing.
My mother was
about
18, I think 17 or 18, the first time she was in charge of feeding all these thrashers.
How many
Wow.
people?
18 years old, yeah, feeding it.
I don't know how many people.
Probably 30, something like that.
So you would set the thrasher up,
Yeah.
and people from different farms would
Well,
come to you.
they would come to this farm and take turns of thrashing. See, like if you thrashed on the Anderson farm, well, Billy Bob and Johnny Boy and so forth, and the farms down the line would bring their empty wagons over there and haul his stuff to the thrasher. And then when it came their turn, he would get on his empty wagon and drive over to their place.
Oh, so they were providing.
They were
providing help to get the grain to the
turnabout
granary.
is fair play.
Okay, and so so then you got to have a big meal at every farm.
Every farm.
And so the wife of whoever's farm the thrasher
she
was
was-
at
well, yeah,
fed all those surrounding.
But it's
folks.
like everything else. They had the acknowledged pit bosses and things, you know, that knew what to cook and everything.
But all the wives of the guys that were working would come and help them.
And the new,
So
the
it's-
new
so it's
little
essential.
newlywed, she had an opportunity to learn this business as it went around for a year or so before she.
So Grandma Kramer was so skilled in the kitchen that she was good enough as an 18-year-old new bride to just take it over and.
I think so.
Oh, that's
she
amazing.
was amazing. She was amazing.
Huh.
Yeah, it
That's
was,
interesting.
and some
So,
places you ate better than others.
so it would be whole families would come to the thrashing events. The wives would come. You have to bring your kids.
Yeah, if they had
bring
little kids,
babysitters.
they'd bring them.
Yeah, and the kids played
So it was
out
like
in the
a big
yard,
family social event,
Oh,
except
yeah.
for at the end of it, you got your grain thrashed.
Yeah. Yep.
So did you and your family own that thrasher that
Yeah.
you took around?
Grandpa Moore did.
Grandpa Moore owned the thrasher.
Well, he had 4 rigs. I've got a picture somewhere of a big picture where they took the picture with one of them panning cameras
Yeah.
or something there. Made a picture about this big got 4 big steam rigs with a steam engine and a threshing machine. And then when we come along, why, I don't think I ever remember, maybe I remember a steam engine once as a child, you know. I don't know whether I can or not, or whether I just put that in there because I knew what it looked like. But on the old Rumley, you saw a little Rumley we got on our table there at home. Rumley oil pull that's painted so pretty. It had the 2 little red seats on there. Well, the hooked over the back fenders, well, that's where Gene and Dean sat. That's why I can't hear anything today, is because we sat on that old Rumley, you know, by the hours. You know, Mama took us out there, put us on that seats while she went in and helped the women with the dinner, you know.
Because she thought that was a safe place to park you?
Well, it was a pretty good place. Pretty good place.
So after he had the steam thrashers, what kind of thrasher did he have? Gasoline?
The Rumley oil pull, coal oil.
Coal oil?
Coal oil. They
Would that
started.
be like diesel?
Yes, it's cheap. It's the early diesel. They started on gasoline because you couldn't start them on coal oil, and then you had a big combination carburetor about that big with a little gasoline side, and when you started the thing, while you closed off the feed on the coal oil side, and you opened up on the gasoline, and then a guy pulled this great big flywheel through, weighed 500 pounds, and he'd put one foot up in there and boom, he'd turn that over, boom, he'd turn it, and pretty soon she'd take off, go, and they opened up the cylinders so that you could crank it, and that stuff would shoot out the little petcocks on the back of the cylinders, and then as soon as it got going, while you reach up and turn them down, just 2 cylinders. You know, one big job, just one.
Okay, that's what he just said.
Yeah.
I want to know how it goes. How's it go again?
What was the noise that it made? What was the noise
When
that
you
it
get
made?
it started,
No.
That's right.
and that was a exhaust hissing out the little vents where you put the primer. You ought to save one of them old machines. You can find them now at the old Thrasherman's.
That they're called Rumleys?
Rumley, Advanced Rumley Tractor. I probably have the model over there, sitting in my living room there.
Okay.
For all to see,
All right.
with the little seats in there too.
How cute is that?
Huh?
How cute is that?
When I was probably in high school, Grandpa Moore took me to a thrashing bee, he called it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a reenactment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I never heard
Yeah.
that.
The old
I never got
Thrashermans
together,
got together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a bunch, all
Because
different
they had
tractors, different thrashers.
around town, like a Gardner, they'd have 3 or 4 different thrashing crews. Like Grandpa and Orley Gordon and True Gore's Line and some of them old guys.
And they had a tent and they fed us. They had like the meals like you're talking about.
Oh,
I remember
cool.
eating a meal like that
Yeah.
at the thrashing bee.
Huh.
And Happy Dorsey.
I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, the guys would come in. We had a pump outside. Of course, there was no running water, and they would wash up there at the pump and drink and before they went in for dinner. But they had to wash up. But the dinner was outside, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They
They
had
were
it
served outside on they take a couple of 2x4s and 2 planks and lay on there and make a table, about 12 feet long, and then they would set all the stuff on there.
I got a question. Of all the things you've seen and done in your whole life, what are the 1 and 2 things that stick out the most? All right, that's one.
Yeah,
I see. That's why I knew that was going to be
That's
number
what he
one.
said too. That's what he said too.
I mean, of the changing of the times, and you've seen multiple wars and the Depression and the endless changes in economy in the United States and and the way people live. I mean, look what I have in my hand. I mean, could you ever imagine being able to film a film with something you could hold in your hand and then watch it immediately afterwards? I mean, how much? What have you seen other than Nana? Number 2 would be the greatest thing that sticks out in your mind. That one thing that you'll remember till your last day that you'll never forget. Like, you know, mine is like the birth of my children, 9/11, Hurricane Andrew, things of that nature will stick in my head forever.
Yeah, well, yeah, all those things. I think the one accomplishment that I think about the most is Karen McAfee. And Karen was a little girl that she was a little. She worked in the Civic Theater as just a helper and doing things on the stage and one thing and another. And Karen had a stroke, and she was paralyzed. Really, she was paralyzed from here down. The only thing she could do at her command was raise her eyebrows, like this. She's 24 years old, standout student, and, helping in the civic work and all that stuff, you know. And then this hit her.
It's an aneurysm.
Aneurysm, and they thought they could take care of it, and they didn't. They ruined her. And so anyway, she was that way for some time, and a guy in the theater, kind of a picturesque name, Joe D. Giovanni, was the manager of the theater group, and Joe worked at our plant. He managed auto testing, and when this all happened, why, he knew that Dean and I had been working on some stuff of interest, and he wanted to know if there was anything we could do for her, because I made some sensing devices that would measure motions that you couldn't see or feel or nothing. You know, we measure parts in a million with a big signal. And so anyway, I heard about it and went to my basement laboratory and conjured up a little headband that used a pneumatic tube just in a band around her head, and I put a sensor on that with a little bimorph crystal and a little rubber tube that she hooked up to that, and went to the band and so forth, and then you take the electric signal out of the bimorph and get it on a wire, and then you can do anything you wanted to do with it. And so we got it to where with a computer, we put an alphabet on the computer, kind of like a bouncing ball. And the thing would start down the line, and she'd find the line with the letter in she wanted. She'd raise her eyebrow and go over like that. So I think we had 6 rows with 7 or whatever to get the numbers and the letters, whatever it took there. And anyway, the thing was starting to beep, and she'd raise her eyebrows and go, she'd raise her eyebrows and take that letter and put it in a sentence. And then she could spell. She could spell. And from then on, she was back again. And, break your heart. And first thing she says was, "Mama, Daddy, I love you." And just crack you up. Anyway, she was 24 years old then. I got a letter from Joe, just an advisor, that she died. She was 48. She lived another 24 years. So, I think that might be one of the things.
So that'd be number 2.
Huh?
That'll be number 2.
Number 2.
And number 1 is Nana.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Okay, when was that? When did you and Dean do that?
What's that?
What year was that, do you think?
Oh, we were in old house in Cumberland, Melba. What,
Was it before or after I graduated from high school? That'll help.
After, I think.
I think it was after I graduated.
Probably in the
That would
1980s.
be. Was it close to when you left Cumberland?
oh, I got it's in the book.
It's
He
in the
left
book.
Cumberland in 1990. He has
You can Google it.
an article out of the paper.
Yeah, you
It
can
probably
go-
has a date on it.
Okay.
Google it.
And what was her name?
Karen Ann McCaffrey. But probably may have to Google Cumberland paper or something, or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I got I got a file on it.
Okay.
Check Jane's file.
Okay.
Check.
How about for you, Nana?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first one would be the relationship with Jean, and the birth of the children. There's nothing compares to that. And then I think probably when I got my master's degree in counseling, guidance and counseling, would be a neat thing in my life.
Tell the story of you. Where were you in your life when you went back to college and got your master's?
Well, after the children were all in school, I got really bored. Jean was taking some classes over at Potomac State College. He said, well, why don't you come with me and take a class? So I did. I thought, well, I'll start with English because that'll be basic. And I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. So then I started taking other classes just for fun. And I kept taking classes and classes. Pretty soon, well, I might as well go for a degree. So then I got my AA degree at the community college, and then I went to Frostburg State College, which is the only other college that was near there. And
You got your degree
Yeah,
there in
I got-
1973.
I got
Because
my
I went to
AA
see
degree,
you.
and Patty got her bachelor's degree in
The same year.
same year,
Yeah, I had it in the
and I missed my graduation to go to hers. And then when I got
When you
When I
graduated
graduated
with
from-
your bachelor's degree, I missed my graduation to go see you graduate
you were getting
from
your
college.
master's, and,
Right.
and you came to sit to my
I came to mom's graduation.
Oh,
Because that was pretty exciting.
that is.
So when
How
you
many people get to see their mom
Right.
graduate?
Yeah.
So, and if that was happening, like, was I alive when you got your bachelor's? Because
75?
I was born in 1975.
No, the 1973 is when she got,
You got
a
a
bachelor's.
bachelor's.
What
Okay.
year did you get your master's? That was several years later.
Yeah, I didn't get it right away because I just went to school part time.
I know, but so
I don't know what date it was. I have those dates, of course, at home.
right, somewhere around there you. Well, do you think you got it before I got married? To Mike?
To Mike? Gee,
You don't remember?
There's my doctorate.
I think that's
Engineer.
perfect. Show it here. Show it here to the camera.
You got that to the camera?
It's good. I can see it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
That's his degree.
Who bestowed that degree on you, Gene?
And where'd you get that degree?
Yeah, where'd you get that degree?
Who claimed you the proud owner?
Somebody made that for you. Who made it for you?
Well, I probably made it.
No, Al Burrell.
Well,
Al
I mean,
Burrell
I
made it for you?
Yeah, yes, Al Burrell bestowed that on me, but I took it as pretty good. He's a pretty high pedigreed guy. You know. Al was flying B-47s and down there in Cuba and all over, and he taught me everything I know in aviation and all that stuff. He's still teaching at Simcom. Runs the simulators there and teaches. He teaches in one simulator. You can get out of that simulator and go right to the airplane.
Wow.
And in fact, you can he'll certify you right out of the simulator. Like I'm certified in a Dash 6 jet from the simulator in my logbook.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Dash 6 man.
I thought that was fun. So did you go down there with him and get
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you did
Yeah,
that.
I went
See,
down
we're
there.
learning all kinds of stuff we didn't
Well, I
know.
went down there and I sat in the jump seat on the simulators while he was giving these guys all the stuff. And after a while, he said, "Hey, Gene," he says, "why don't you get over there in that seat?"
try.
I got there in that seat, and he gave me about a half hour of that stuff, you know. He says, "You got your logbook with you?" That's it. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
He signed my logbook.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So what year do you think that might have
I
been?
don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years
So you're like at 86, you qualified for your jet
Dash,
pilot?
yeah, something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We got it's in the book.
I know, but this book's going to be fabulous.
Well, so Papa, how did you learn to fly to begin with? How did you start flying?
Well, Dean and I, if we'd hear an airplane go over town, we'd take off on the double to the airport. It was only a mile down the road, and we'd run down there and see who it was.
Tell them what the double was. You'd run off
Run.
on the double. I thought you meant the double lane. Okay.
No, on the double. On the
Okay.
double. Yeah, that means double
Fast
time.
feet.
Step, step, step.
Good.
And we'd go down there and check him out. And I had my first lesson in 1941 in old Veronica Champ in Lawrence. But Jack had been giving us some time in the old Wiley Post that he owned, but we couldn't log that because he wasn't an instructor at that time.
Okay. The snoring's getting us 19.
Hey, wake up.
Okay, so you had your first flying lesson in 1941?
Yeah.
My husband's snoring on the floor.
I think we ought to go help Patty make the dinner.
I was
Probably.
pointed out for that.
This
Yes,
probably
ma'am.
won't amount to
I think we ought to continue this tomorrow. We have to do the grades retirement dinner for Alan.
Okay.
That's
We're
fun.
taking
I'm
a
going to
break
get some more
till
in-depth
tomorrow.
questions.
You have Cheerios on your chest. Several.
John was a participant. He
That's
provided the
right.
background music.
That's right.
John
A little
to
too
sleep
much
period.
time in the sun.
This wasn't too shabby a job I had. That's the old steerman that I owned with Timmy.
That's going to be the next installment. We want to get all the stuff about the steerman.
Okay. 'Cause,
We'll reconvene, but I think we need to get our
we bought this
the
one
celebration
with just a
on
pile of bones.
Ducks in line.
and that was super.
We made it a national grand champion.
That's a good story.
Yeah, that's a pretty good story. That's too bad.
I know.
You
We're saving
know-
that story for tomorrow.
You remember that my cousin Jean came through and took the history of all videotaped of all
No, I
stories?
don't remember that.
You haven't that story of Grandpa Kramer and Mom in there? She took
38 inch?
family history.
Does she have that?
She went from one family to another.
And wrote down
That is
histories.
No, she videotaped.
You were
I never saw the videotape.
I
Do
always.
you have
You
it?
have
Yeah.
That's what I
I've never seen that. I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have a videotape.
We don't have it with us.
Family.
What, Charlie?
Yeah, I have memories of being at Grandpa Kramer's house. Maybe when they were having like a 65th wedding anniversary party, and I was
All right,
pretty
the banana
small.
king.
And
Great.
hearing people from their generation
Really?
tell stories. Were they being recorded then?
Show all the pictures.
Getting those when they were telling those stories from. They're telling stories from running the cattle down and being in the border town down there.
Well, she
We
didn't
want
do
to
that at
transcribe
that.
your-
and that
your
tape wasn't
paper.
done at that time. I'm sure they were telling stories.
Oh, yeah, they just,
But Dad has some pretty good stories about when he was young on this videotape that she made.
Well, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, and you have a copy of it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should your videotape.
you know,
Well, I was gonna say, my husband
But
could
I
make
wanted-
it
but I wanted-
digital and
That's what I'm saying. You are the techno savvy
What I
he
wanted-
people.
snores, but he does
Is to
good
put it
stuff.
on
I know. I think he's good. I don't
on
have
a
a problem.
DVD.
Yeah.
You know, change it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is
And
it,
kind of edit it.
Yeah, we
I
just
wanted
got
to
you a
edit it
career.
because
Right.
there's a lot of stuff in there that just pertains to
Dana's
other
got
family
a
that probably
videotape
would not be.
of
if it
We need
was
a narrator.
my grandfather
we
and
need a narrator.
talking about doing this,
a narrator.
and we
You have a
need
video?
someone
It's
to.
actually a narrator.
Video. It's on video.
yeah, it's on video.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to.
Well,
It's on a VCR. It needs to go to DVD.
yes.
I have
I'm thinking you.
my DVD player will also play VCRs, and you can record from one to the other. But I wanted to edit. That's the problem.
So-
You're
record
not
it from
going
one to the
PC
other.
and do an editing job on it.
If I just want to go straight through, there's no problems, you know. But if
So-
you want to edit, I
So
don't
do
know.
that.
Oh my
Let's
God,
see.
we just missed an eagle ray jumping out of the water.
Was that what? I think I saw it come back down. Did I see it come back down right there?
Where?
They
What
don't
is
know
it?
why. They don't know why they do it, and sometimes they'll do it twice, but usually only
A
once.
bird?
No,
An eagle
Oh,
ray.
Mary?
What was
An
it?
eagle ray. It's a stingray.
How big
it's
was
a
it?
big black stingray.
Oh
I don't know,
my
probably
God.
about 4 or 5 feet across.
John and I
Oh
saw
my
it
word!
earlier.
And we missed it. I'm so upset.
What, where is it?
I just watched it. It
That's
just
better than a box turtle.
they jump out of the water. I swear, Katie saw.
I
the
saw
end
it
of
flash. It's nice to see it. No, well, John and I saw something earlier. I don't know what it was, but it was like as big as the coffee table.
Jump
Like,
out?
Jump out, and it was black, and then when it kind of turned, and it was white underneath. Is
That's
that?
exactly what it is.
Yeah, we saw it earlier.
It's a big stingray, and they jump out. I think to get parasites and stuff off of
There
their
was
body.
something swimming there yesterday. What was that?
Careful.
A mosquito or something?
Well, maybe when
We
they
need to-
swim.